Hey everybody, well I've just finally finished editing the last little bit of KHF's final thoughts on Higurashi, and the video is currently processing as I record this, although by the time you see this video KHF's final thoughts on Higurashi will have probably been up for a couple of days. But anyway, I thought I'd start a new series of videos which would basically just be like these kind of vlog-y type reviews, wherein I'd talk about the anime I just reviewed as KHF, but just talk about it out of character, basically, and maybe just expand on some of the things KHF brought up, and, you know, obviously with KHF everything's highly exaggerated, and just talk about things in a more calm and relaxed manner. It's similar in vein to what Doug Walker does after he's done a bum review, and then he does a vlog kind of just saying what his actual thoughts are on the film that he reviewed. Which I don't know if he still does that. It's been a long time since I went on that website, but yeah, so yeah, I just thought I'd just talk for a bit about not only Higurashi, but also the whole the uphill battle that it was getting KHF's final thoughts on Higurashi done. First of all, I've just noticed this now as it's processing. Some of you may notice that Emma's sprites are a little bit crap in the final thoughts video. Because I'm now filming everything in full screen, whereas before it was kind of filmed smaller, but I stretched it out. I can't actually render Emma's sprites the way that I used to, so I'm having to do it kind of old school actually, and having to use the animated GIFs that you can download off of courtrecords.net for Emma's speaking. And when I was editing the video itself, it looked fine, it looked good, but now I'm seeing it rendered in the video format and it looks quite terrible, and I'm sorry about that. I will try and sort this problem out. I will try and get Emma's sprites looking good again for the future. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe the format just doesn't render GIFs too well, because GIFs are quite small files. But hopefully that wasn't too much of a hang-up for everybody, though I'm sure people have let me know in the comment section. So I suppose I should talk about the, well, I think of it as an elephant in the room, of KHF and Takiya's final battle. Right, I did say that the whole process of making this video was an uphill battle. This has not been a fun process for me, I'm gonna be honest. This has not been fun. Reason being is because partway through watching Higurashi, I kind of realised what I was setting myself up for, and that I didn't really have the means to follow through with what I was setting myself up for, that being the big final battle with KHF and Takiya, because if you remember when I did the shadow boxing thing, it wasn't exactly, good, and I had kind of an epiphany in a way that I was really trying to be something I'm not. I was trying to be a nostalgia critic, I was trying to be a Linkara, and that's just not who I am. They have the means to do these big epic things and I don't. So I'd kind of bitten off more than I could chew, and at the same time I'd kind of written myself into a corner because I'd made this huge deal out of it, all of it in the build-up, and how I didn't want to give a cop-out ending, and in the end I kind of did. So I did want to give the fans something of a finale, but it was just hard to, because I knew I couldn't do it on the levels that I had originally planned for. And it was then that I realised, somewhere along the lines I forgot that this was meant to be fun. That, this channel was meant to be fun, it was meant to be funny, it was meant to, make people laugh. It was just meant to be a bit of harmless fun with anime. And, I don't know why, somewhere down the line I'd forgotten about that, and I tried to turn it into this big epic story like, oh, okay, Jeff has this mysterious past, he can't remember anything, but he had a wife and son, it's, and all that, and really that's not what, I've realised that's not what people came for. People, you know, come to my channel to have a laugh and, you know, watch stupid videos and watch me doing top 10s, and, you know, I was looking at, like, old videos where, you know, long before I started to do this plot rubbish, and I was thinking, you know, that, you know, it was fun then, and people liked it, you know, it was fun, people had a good time, people enjoyed it, so, you know, kind of what I wanted to do with this video was make things fun again, you know, make things silly and fun. That's why the final battle was that stupid paper puppet thing, just, yeah, do you know, all sorts of exciting. Yeah, so that's why the final battle is what it is, because I wanted to make it fun again, and you know I only have myself to blame for all the stress that I went through. I completely get that. It's my own fault, because nobody was making me do any of the stuff I was trying to do, like this big epic story thing. Nobody but me was making me do that. My fans weren't expecting that from me. I was trying to do too much with too little, and too early on. Like, maybe somewhere down the line I could do something like this, but as of right now I can't, and I shouldn't have tried to. You know, so I realise it's completely my own fault. You know, I don't blame anybody but myself. And this is part of why it took me so long to get through Higurashi, because part of me was hesitating, because part of me didn't want to do the final thoughts, because I knew what I had to, you know, I knew I had to give off an eye to this thing, and I knew it was just not possible to do it the way I wanted it to be. But, you know, things happened, and then I just decided to do it in the silly fashion that I did, because, as I said, I wanted to make things fun again. So it's unlikely that I'm going to do any more story stuff in my KHF videos for quite some time, and hopefully everybody can understand why. And, you know, like I say, people, you know, that wasn't what they came to my channel for in the first place. That wasn't what they were expecting to see. You know, what they want is just me acting stupid as KHF and talking about anime in an exaggerated fashion, and, you know, that's what I plan to give people. You know, no underlying story things. So, you know, I might pick it up again at some point, but right now I'm kind of putting it on the back burner, and, you know, just focusing on making things fun and silly again. So hopefully everybody can understand that. The reason why there's nothing but the green screen background during the Robo-Cena Takia fight is because when I tried to render a background into that, I don't know what, something went wrong with the mask, and it just made both Robo-Cena and Takia transparent. But I actually think it works better this way, like how crappy it looks, because it's meant to be crappy and stupid. So I actually prefer it that way, but I know that's bad inconsistency, because the fight had a background, although the green screen effect didn't exactly come out amazing on there, and as I'm saying this, actually the battles just come up in the rendering process. But yeah, so that's why there was no background there, but hopefully nobody cared. One last thing I'll just say about the video itself is that is the reason for changing KHF's personality. I've actually thought about doing this for a while, because I know there are still some people who don't quite get that, you know, KHF's, you know, just meant to be this character I created, and that he's all over the top and exaggerated and all that. They think when I'm yelling about anime that I'm actually taking it that seriously and I need to chill out and stuff. When that's not true. That's, you know, that's just KHF. He's over the top. He's exaggerated. It's meant to be funny. But like I say, some people still don't get that. So I thought of just making him a bit more, giving him a bit more of a character, if you will, making him a bit more like larger than life, so that people can recognise that, you know, this is all pretend. This is all funny. This is all silly, and stuff. So hopefully you'll like the new persona. But I'm sure people are raging at me for the scary change that's happening. Okay, on to Higurashi itself. Spent so long talking about the video, I've actually completely forgotten what I was going to say about it. Very good series, very good series. I very much enjoyed it. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, like, you know, the two of you that actually do will know that at first, I was confused about how everything was laid out, but after a while I just got used to the fact that it had like different story arcs, like the same characters, just a different way the plot plays out, and I actually think it was quite interesting doing that, like same characters, same sort of setup, but done differently so that the outcome is different. I actually think that's very interesting. I've been saying this to some friends of mine for a while now. This is what Endless 8 in Season 2 of Haruhi Suzumiya should have been. This is what Endless 8 should have been. Same characters, same setup, just acted out differently. This is what it should have been, not like repeating the same thing for 8 flinking episodes, which was ridiculous. So this is what Endless 8 should have been. But yeah, no, I really liked this setup, and the execution was very good. Trying to think of what else. One thing I have joked about with some friends of mine is that I actually thought Evil Reno was a little bit sexy. So, I'm just looking at that and I'm like, talk evil to me, baby. I hope people realise I am just kidding about when I say that. I know there was a time when I used to say stuff like that seriously, but that was a long time ago. But yeah, Evil Reno, it's like, talk evil to me, baby. Okay, I'll move on from that. That's just being stupid. But yeah, what Kira Jeff said about oh, crap, her name has slipped my mind completely now. Satoko, that's it. Satoko being his favourite character. That is actually true. She probably was my favourite character in it all, because like it did catch me off guard just how much I was beginning to care about her. Like, like when I saw her in like Shion's flashback and she was just getting upset over something trivial, I knew that was because there was actually much more going on behind the scenes, and it's just like, oh, Satoko, oh, don't worry, it'll be okay. So yeah, I was surprised that like how much I was beginning to care about her as a character. I was actually talking to Yuki about this, my cousin, who was part of the Kyo and Yuki Let's Play channel that none of you watched. I was actually talking to Yuki about this at my sister's wedding. Like, I was just so shocked at how much I was beginning to care about a piece of paper, basically. Yeah, I was shocked at how much this was making me care about a fictional character. We were like, oh yeah, I want to be her Nini. And I don't mean this in a perfect way, obviously. It's like I want to be the Lee to her Clementine. If you played the Walking Dead game, you know what I mean. I want to be the Lee to her Clementine.